Hello and welcome to Time. Today we are going to discuss the important government schemes. Hello and welcome to Time. Today we are going. Okay, so let's start the class. The format of the class is going to be like this. Just a sec. Just a sec. Sorry for the interruption. There is some problem with my screen. Give me a sec. I'll just. Okay, all set to go. Sorry for the interruption. So, this class is quite important for the people, those who are targeting any government exam, including the bank and SSC. So, what we are going to discuss in today's class, so we are going to discuss the types of schemes. So, there is a category given to the different schemes. What is going to be the category we'll discuss. Then we'll discuss the schemes announced in this budget. So in 2016, while the budget was presented on 1st of Feb, there were certain new schemes announced, and every budget there are schemes announced. So we are going to discuss about some new schemes and the impact which the government is expecting from those schemes. We'll discuss that, and then we'll talk about the remaining important schemes. Although there are lot many schemes which we can discuss, but then it will take around 5 to 6 hours to discuss every scheme. So I'll be discussing the new schemes or the schemes which are in news or the schemes which are uh, marketed by the government in a large. So let us first talk about the types of schemes. So see, when it comes to the government schemes can be divided into two parts. The one is going to be the central sector schemes. Now, these central sector schemes, you need to remember the amount of these schemes, the outlay, the money for these schemes is 100% given by the union government. That you have to remember. So this budget, this is a current affair, 17 lakh crore rupees are given for the central sector schemes. Remember these terms because while I'll talk about the different schemes, I will tell you after every scheme that whether it's a central sector scheme, whereas the central government pays the 100% amount. That means the state government does not have to share any money involved with these schemes. So 17 lakh crores in budget 2026. Example, there are many space research programs, there are central armed police force schemes, and schemes like BharatNet, whereas they are planning to give internet to the citizen of India, even the rural areas. So this is what you call the central sector scheme. And then you have centrally sponsored schemes. That means the center government, the union government will not give 100% money. It can be 90-10, it can be 80-20, it can be 70-30, or whatsoever the ratio is. But the full money of the scheme, the full outlay will not be given by the center government. Some of the money has to be borne by the states. So we have to remember this. So there are two types of schemes, central sector schemes and centrally sponsored schemes. Earlier, they had one more classification, core of the core schemes and core scheme. However, this budget, they did not talk about core of the core and core schemes. So I'm not confusing you and giving you another classification. But right now, what you need to remember is there are central sector schemes and there are centrally sponsored schemes. For an example, the question can be how much money is allocated to centrally sponsored scheme. That means how much money the union government is going to give. So that would be 5 lakh crores. So that would be union government share, and then the remaining share would be borne by the states. Right. Example, Viksit Bharat, Ji. Then there are certain schemes related to SC/STs. There are certain schemes related to minorities, National Social Assistant Program, whereas they give the pension to the people, those who do not have any source to income. Then Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, whereas you get the 5 lakh rupees health insurance. Then Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, as the name suggests, it will help the states to have the good roads for the rural areas, or the Fasal Bima Yojana, that is the insurance for the crops. So these are few schemes, whereas the central government says that we are not going to give 100% amount. Some of the money has to be borne by the states. So now we need to understand the centrally sponsored schemes and central sector schemes. Now in the next part, I'm going to talk about the schemes which are either launched or discussed in the budget 2026. This would be the recent one. I would request you to sit with your copy and pen. Please do not rely on the PPT solely, because there are few things I'll be telling you without showing in the PPT. So I want you to make the notes because it would help you to correct the MCQs if there are any in the exam. And I'm sure that government schemes is something which is evergreen, and there are some questions always there in exams like NABARD or IBPS or RBI or so forth. So let's move. So let's first talk about the schemes which were given in budget. Just a sec. Okay. So the first scheme, AI Bharat Vistar. So that is AI Bharat Vistar. Now, sometimes they also ask you the full forms of the scheme. For an example, there is a scheme known as Udan. Can someone out of the audience tell me that what is the full form of this scheme, Udan? I'm waiting on the chat box. If you can tell me the full form of this scheme, Udan. Anybody? Or Amrut? Okay, so the full form of Udan is Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. Yes, very good. And Amrut. What would be Amrut? Good. I got one answer. At least somebody is participating. Amrut. So there's a full form. Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. So sometimes they ask you the full forms because most of the schemes of the BJP government or the NDA government has the full forms. So the next thing you need to remember is the full form, right? So for an example, this AI Bharat Vistar was much hyped in this budget. Full form, virtually integrated system to access agricultural resources. So I need to remember the name of the scheme. I need to remember the full form of the scheme plus why this scheme. So it says that it's a multilingual AI tool that will integrate the AgriStack portal and ICAR package on agriculture practice with AI systems. So that I need to remember. This is one scheme. Another scheme is Mahatma Gandhi Gram Swaraj Initiative. So yes, it is again for the this is both the schemes are for rural areas. It says to strengthen the khadi, handloom, and handicraft sector. So the MCQ can be what is the scheme introduced in budget 2016 to strengthen the khadi, handloom, and handicraft sector by improving global market access. So this can be the question, and then you need to remember that is Mahatma Gandhi Gram Swaraj Initiative. Because sometimes if you don't know the scheme all about. For an example, prima facie, it shows like Mahatma Gandhi Gram Swaraj. So Swaraj itself says that the rule. So you can always think about the Panchayati Raj or something like that, and therefore you need to study the scheme. So again, I'm saying the name of the scheme, the full form of the scheme, and the purpose of the scheme at least. And if possible, remember the budget outlay as well. I'm not telling you the budget outlay because there are many schemes and it would be confusing. So, something I want you to research nonetheless. So, I'm moving the slide. So, two schemes related to rural areas. Then, Samarth. So, this is an old scheme, but then they have come up this year. They come up with Samarth 2.0. Now, the full form, the scheme for capacity building in textile sector. So, now this is related to textile. So what I need to remember is Samarth 2.0 is related to textile. What they will do skilling program. So they will skill the youth for the textile sector so that they can get the placement. And the scheme's name is Samarth 2.0. Then there was this biopharma industry, which is a upcoming industry, and finance minister talked a lot about this biopharma Shakti. There were two things which were talked here. One was MSME champions, and the other was this biopharma Shakti, whereas to make India a world leader in biopharma medicines. So strategy for healthcare advancement through knowledge, technology, and innovation. So this is one thing. Then ISM 2.0. So ISM 2.1 was also there. It is 2.0. So that is, sorry, 1.0 was there and now it is 2.0. So position India as a reliable and competitive player in the global semiconductor value chain. So you must be knowing that there is a lot of hue and cry on semiconductors. Even there are certain groups which are made. Recently, there are certain, like for an example, recently the Prime Minister visited Israel. There also we discussed a lot about the critical minerals related deal because in semiconductor manufacturing you need critical minerals. So therefore, semiconductor manufacturing 1.0 and then the new scheme known as 2.0. Yes, very good. Only one person is answering. What about others? Come on, people participate. Okay, good. Uh, so schemes in budget 2026 we are studying. We have already learned about manufacturing, agriculture. Now there was this scheme you must be knowing known as Smart City. So there were certain cities which were selected as smart cities and they were given certain additional resources from the union government. Although this is over, so now, replacing smart city, there is a different 5,000 crore allocation for city economic regions. So this is actually to boost up tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So cities like Jaipur, Bhopal, so these would be given this much money, right? After that, this scheme I really felt that this is the scheme which is really appreciable. Divyangjan Kaushal Yojana, which was discussed in this budget. It says that the people, those who cannot walk, those who cannot uh, those who are handicapped by any reason, they would be given training for the things like IT, hospitality roles, etc. So this is one more scheme. So these are few schemes which were discussed in budget 2026, and I gave you the allocation as well. Now let me talk about one scheme which was in the news throughout January and December 2025 to January 2026. Again, can somebody guess which scheme I'm talking about? The scheme was renamed. Okay, I give you one more hint. That scheme was renamed. Anyone? So this resilient Sandra only is answering, nobody else. Which scheme I'm talking about? It was renamed, and the opposition parties were not happy with the renaming of that scheme. The question is, there was a scheme which was renamed, and the opposition parties were not happy with the renaming of that scheme, and there are certain provisions which are also, yes, very good. So that is Viksit Bharat Ji Ram Ji. Very good, very good. So I'm going to talk about a big change, that is the change in the financial architecture of Viksit Bharat Ji Ram Ji. So earlier this scheme was known as MGNREGA, right? Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, right? So there are some things which are given you as the fundamental rights which are there in the constitution, and there are certain guarantees which are made via law. So there are laws made. So let me first tell you, at the time of the UPA government, there were certain laws which were made, and then we'll again come back to what are the changes made in MG Narega, and how it became Viksit Bharat Ji Ram Ji. So, people, those who are following this, very good. Those who are not following, this is going to be the most important part of this class, because this scheme can be asked anywhere, at least for next 4 5 months. So, listen to it very carefully. Let us now discuss. So let's first understand the chronology of certain laws made by the government. So till in 2004 to 2014, there was this Manmohan Singh government, the UPA government, right? So it has given certain legal rights. So 2005, this legal right to work MGNREGA was passed. 2005 Right to Information Act was passed. 2006 there was this Forest Rights Act which was passed. 2009 Right to Education, although this is a fundamental right as well. Article 21A talks about right to education, but then that was the legal right as well. 2013 the government passed NFSA, that is National Food Security Act, which says 5 kg wheat, rice, and coarse grain. So if I'm not wrong, 3 rupees rice, 3 rupees kg rice, 2 rupees kg wheat, and 1 rupees kg coarse grain would be given to the priority household. That would be the poor people. So then it was renamed as Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, and even 3 rupees, 2 rupees were spared. So now it's given for free. And then 2013, the government came up with Land Acquisition Act. So these are certain acts which were passed at the time of the Manmohan Singh government, and these are known as legal rights. Let us come back to MGNREGA to Viksit Bharat Jiram Ji. So, what are the key provisions of the Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Gramin? Let's understand. First thing first, statutory, that is the legal guarantee, wage employment guarantee provides a legal guarantee of 125 days. Now, this is the biggest change. So, MG Narega used to provide 100 days. It will provide 125 days of wage employment per rural household. Now, you need to remember that was only for the rural household and not for urban, right? Per financial year, that is from 1st April to 31st March, to adult members willing to undertake unskilled manual work. So here it's not a skilled work. You don't have to make a program or you can't do coding. You just have to do unskilled manual work. So there were certain criticisms also that it is only for digging the holes. But yes, that is how it is. Now, this has now become a centrally sponsored scheme. That means the state also have to contribute. So it's a cost sharing pattern to 60-40. That means 60% money would be given by the center and 40% should be shared by the state. As you can read from the earlier 10% share under MGNREGA. So earlier states had to contribute only 10%, but now they have to contribute 40%. While 90-10, now there are one more thing, and I won't explain this much, but I want you to read about that if you don't know. These are certain special category states. For an example, Northeast, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. So places whereas there are hilly areas or Jammu and Kashmir. So for them, these are known as special category state, whereas it's difficult for states to earn the revenue. So the center government would pay more and the special category states has to pay less. If you remember, there was a demand from Bihar also that Bihar should be given the special category state status. Nonetheless, so this was about, we are studying about the Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission, and there are many other changes made. For an example, there is to be job card. So this in this GRAMG, there would be different colors of job cards given to the people, those who are from the weaker section of society, the female workers. So there are many changes made. However, flexibility during agricultural season. The bill empowers state to pause the program for up to 60 days in a financial year during peak sowing and harvesting seasons, ensuring the availability of farm labor for agriculture activities. Now, I'll explain, I'll tell you something very interesting. See, what used to happen is, especially the agrarian states, the rich state like Punjab and Haryana, uh, these states have the migrant workers to come and to do the small agricultural things. But if the migrant workers are coming from Bihar and UP, because these are the comparatively poor states. So while MG Narega is offering the job or VB, MG Narega, let's not talk about VB. MG Narega is offering the job in their own city. Why would they migrate from the UP or Bihar to Punjab? So the Punjab and Haryana farmer were not happy at all with MG Narega because they were having shortage of the agricultural labor. because the agriculture labor, those who were migrating from UP and Bihar, were getting jobs there itself. So when there is a harvesting season, there would be no MG Narega. That means the migrant worker will not be getting the jobs in their own states, and therefore they will migrate to the rich states for the jobs. So this was one of the reasons. Nonetheless, so that is about this scheme. Very important. You need to remember this. Can come in the exam. Now I'll show you the ministries and I'll quickly revise the schemes. I'll be telling you certain important points to note, and this is how we'll go further. So let us first start with the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, and I'll be talking about some schemes. So we'll have a quick revision. Let's start. So the first scheme is related to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. So first scheme is National High Yield Seeds Mission. As the name suggests, it's related to the seeds. What you need to remember is it's a centrally sponsored scheme. And I'm sure that now you know the difference. So I will not be telling you the difference again. What is the goal? Enhancing India's food security, protecting traditional crops, promoting seed sovereignty. What is the meaning of this word seed sovereignty? Means the seeds which are cultivated in India should be promoted rather than importing the seeds from different countries, protecting the biodiversity. So these are the goals of National High Yield Seeds Mission. Objective, what is the objective? To develop a variety of seeds by promoting research on new high yield seeds to improve the resistance of seeds. Resistance from what? Resistance from the pest, from the small worms which can come in the seeds. So for that, they will promote the research. The mission aims to develop a variety of seeds by promoting research on new high yielding seeds. So this is related to seeds, although the scheme itself says that it's related to seeds. But there are certain important terms here. For an example, the seed sovereignty, what you need to remember. So scheme number one of ours, which is the National High Yield Seeds Mission, says it focuses on developing seeds that can resist pest, as I told you, and climatic stress, and ensure that remain productive even when environmental conditions change. Because because of this global warming thing, you can see the rain patterns are disturbed, and usually farmers, they complain that our seeds are rotten because of the rain which was supposed to happen in the month of August but happening in the month of Feb. So therefore this scheme, then this scheme, which was talked in this budget as well, PM Dhanya Agriculture Scheme. Again, a centrally sponsored scheme. Nodal agency is Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare in collaboration with NABARD. NABARD, the full form is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. Now, this was made in 1982 with the recommendation of Sivaraman Committee. Sivaraman. Now, NABARD is not a bank, first thing first. It's a regulator of the RRBs, and NABARD is also a refinancer. That means it won't give money directly to the customer. It would give money or the loan to RRBs, and then RRBs would further give the loan, right? So target, what is the target? Target is small and marginal farmers in 100 low productivity district in all over India. What they're going to do, they're going to enhance agricultural productivity through modern technology. So those farmers those who cannot afford the modern technology, they would be given the money by NABARD to buy the modern things and better land utilization. Yes, very good, Anupama. It's a regulatory authority. Fantastic. I'm sorry, but I'm getting the messages late because there is a lag between YouTube and the live stream. Anyways, the program is inspired by the aspirational district program. Now, again, a question for all of you. Which body, which authority or which body started this aspirational district program? I'm waiting for your answers in the chat box. किसने शुरू किया था aspirational districts program? Which body of the administration? I'm waiting for the answer in the chat box. Aspirational districts are the districts which are actually poor districts, which are trying to come into the race. No, that's a ministry. I agree, Sundarvadhana. But I'm not talking about the ministry. There is a body which started this aspirational district program. Okay, this body was a replacement of planning commission. I gave you the hint also. Now tell me. Yes, very good, Anupama. That's Niti Aayog. So, National Institution for Transforming India, it actually kickstarted the Aspirational District Program in 2018 to quickly and effectively transform 112 underdeveloped districts across the country. Right? Niti Aayog was recently in news. It has a new CEO. I will not tell you the name. You just find out the name of the new CEO. Anyways, let's move towards the next slide. So the scheme targets 100 districts with low agriculture productivity, modern crop intensity, and below average credit access. So NABARD would give the credit and it would give money to the districts to ensure that the farmer would get the appropriate technology. Right. So how many farmers are going to benefit? However, I have never seen such questions are asked. They might ask you that what are the districts which are targeted? So you need to remember that these are the aspirational districts. What are aspirational districts? Which are effectively poorer than the comparatively poorer than the other districts of India. Right. Underdeveloped. Anyways, perfect. Let's move. So, natural mission for natural farming, as the name suggests, it's a centrally sponsored scheme. Nodal agency is NCONF. Objective is to promote chemical free. So, promote the organic farming, sustainability. Sustainability means to keep the mind the effectiveness, to keep the mind the ability of the future generation, and climate smart agriculture. So gradually, India is also following the other countries. We are also going for the climate smart agriculture. Expand natural farming up to 7.5 lakh hectares through 15,000 clusters. Important? No. What is important? The objective, the nodal agency. Right. Emphasize chemical-free farming using locally available resources. So biomass, cow dung, urine formulation, and so forth. So that is about the National Mission for Natural Farming. However, it was started in 2024, but it's a newspaper now and then. So therefore, we need to remember this. Okay, moving further. Digital Agriculture Mission, very important. See, government has made a scheme for farmers. Now, how would government come to know that who are the farmers which are really into the need of the scheme? And here comes the digital agriculture mission. So that at least the government would come to know that these are the farmers, those who are into the real need of the scheme or allocation. So that's a centrally sponsored scheme. Nodal agency is Department of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Target. Now you have to see the target. Generate 11 crore farmer IDs. So it's just like the Aadhaar card. So the farmers would have the IDs by 26-27, I mean the end of this financial year. However, sometimes the target is given, but target is not essentially achieved. So if the target would be achieved, it would come into the newspaper. So that time, yes, it becomes more important for you to remember the scheme because the scheme is recently in the newspaper. Like VBG Ramji was every day there were newspaper articles in Indian Express or the Hindu, and therefore it becomes more important for you to remember. So generate 11 crore farmer IDs by 26-27 and conduct digital crop survey. Because if the farmer says that my crops are ruined because of rain, so how would government come to know? So it would do the digital crop survey across all state UTs from Kharif 2025. So there are different seasons. You have Kharif, you have Rabi, you have Chat. So from Kharif to 2025, it was supposed to happen. Objective is what? Create digital public infrastructure. The government is trying to create digital public infrastructure by every means. For an example, to transfer the MG Nariga money, which is now VBG Ramji, government started GEM. So the full form is Jan Dhan, which is again a scheme connecting. So it's a bank account connecting with Aadhaar and the mobile phone number. So Jan Dhan Aadhaar mobile. Gem. So government would come to know, okay, the money this person has worked for 100 days and now we have to send the money in his account. So the account number would be connected with Aadhaar. So it would be difficult to, evade the subsidies. So create digital public infrastructure, establish a robust digital agriculture ecosystem, provide timely and reliable crop related information to farmers, support farmers centric digital solution. So yes, this is very important scheme. Digital India is related to Digital India, and then we have to remember this, right? Okay. Government will create digital identities of about 11 crore farmers in the next 3 years. This will solve the problem related to the accuracy of India's agriculture production estimates. So government would come to know that how much agriculture production is happening, how much we have to import or export for that matter. So it would be easy. This will promote farmer-centric innovative digital services in the agriculture sector, which will be in line with the vision of Developed India 2047. Important. If you don't know about this, please read this vision carefully. Okay. There is another scheme known as Agri Shore Scheme. What is the objective? So usually youth is not very much interested opening a startup in agri sector. Startups are usually targeted towards the service sector or the product manufacturing. So this is AgriShore scheme. The objective is foster investment in agri and rural startups. So government saying that, see, there is a very clear thing. If you talk about the contribution in GDP, there are three sectors of economy: primary, secondary, and tertiary. If I ask you which sector contributes the most for the in the GDP of the country, I'm asking a question again and I'll wait for the answer in the chat box. Which sector contributes the most in the GDP of the country? Which sector? Primary, secondary, or tertiary? Come on, answer it. Yes, very good. So the service sector, the tertiary sector contributes the most in the GDP. Now, question number two, which sector contributes the most in the employment? Again, primary, secondary, or tertiary? So GDP, yes. Services contributes the most. Which sector? Yes, very good. So agriculture or the primary sector contributes the most into the employment. However, there is a typical unemployment found in the agriculture sector. I'm sure people, those who are preparing hard for their exams, must have heard and read about this, the disguised unemployment. That means more than required people are working at a place. Reason, there is less employment and many people working at the same place. Right. So what happens is the government tries to have the employment opportunities via startups in the agri sector and therefore this scheme so that the disguise unemployment can be fought. Right. So it was launched by Government of India in collaboration again with NABARD. So there are many schemes you will find NABARD present. Right. Fund manager would be known as NAB Ventures. So NABARD has made a subsidiary known as NAB Ventures, which would give the funds to these startups, those who are going to open their companies in agri sector. What is the target? 85 startups to be supported in agri-tech, food processing, animal husbandry, and fisheries. All the primary sectors. Right. So important. Remember this. Am I going too fast? You want me to go slow or the speed is okay? Please tell me in the chat box, those who are participating. Do you want me to go a bit slow or the speed is fine? Do let me know in the chat box. I'm moving further. Okay. Uh, we are one of the, not the largest, but yes, in sufficient quantity, we produce seeds. And therefore, uh, thank you so much. My face is correct. Thank you so much. Okay. So, therefore, we should be the exporters of the edible oil, but unfortunately, we import a lot of edible oil from different countries. Malaysia, Thailand, some European countries, US. However, there are certain states which are known as soya belt. Can someone tell me what are the states which are the producers of soya bean in India? Name two, three states produce because soya bean is the oil which is very frequently taken by Indians. And another is palm oil, but we do not take palm oil with a wish. So this is pushed to us by via the chips companies. But can someone tell me which belt is known as soya belt of the country, whereas a lot of soya bean is produced? Name any state if you know, and then I'll talk about this. Yes, perfect. You have Madhya Pradesh, you have Rajasthan. So these are the areas which are known as soya belt. However, we import the oil, edible oil, a lot. So for that, National Mission on Edible Oil Palm launched in 2021, subsuming the oil palm program under NFSM. Yes, very good, Maharashtra and Rajasthan. Very good, Anupama. Okay, this is a centrally sponsored scheme which is under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. First palm processing mill was inaugurated in Arunachal Pradesh. It can be asked in MCQ. So remember, scheme active in 15 states. What is the target to increase oil palm area and production, reduce edible oil imports? Because we already going through a rupee depreciation against the US dollar. So if you import more and export less, you are into the balance of payments or the balance of trade crisis, and therefore you need to reduce at least the agrarian things Although there was this US deal which we recently had, I'm sure all of you are reading that. Anyways, so special focus on northeastern states and Andaman Nicobar Island. So this also can be a question that this scheme, National Mission on Edible Oils, Oil Palm, is focusing which state? So you should remember it's focusing northeastern Andaman and Nicobar Island. Right, guys? Let's move further. Now let's talk about the Ministry of Culture. So the Prime Minister himself is promoting some very important schemes, out of which one is Gyan Bharatam Mission. Now this is not centrally sponsored. This is central sector scheme. That means the 100% of money would be given by the union government. What it says? It says preserving India's ancient knowledge through conservation of manuscripts. If you can read here, I have just copied and pasted from the website of the ministry. What is the manuscript? So, manuscript is a handwritten composition on paper, bark, cloth, or metal, or palm leaf, which is at least 75 years old. So, what they are going to do, they are going to preserve the manuscripts in academic institutions, museum, libraries, and private collections covering India's ancient knowledge system. So, if you can read this, India holds an estimated 5 million manuscripts, which is an achievement. So it's a largest collection in the world of manuscript, and therefore to save them, yes, I'll be doing it. I'm doing it already. I told you what can be asked in exams. Don't worry. Although I am not a future teller, so I just cannot tell you that this would definitely come, but I am pointing out the important things. Like for this scheme, whatever I am telling you here, that what is a manuscript, you need to remember this. This can be asked. Or Gyan Bharatam mission prima facie, they might ask you that this mission was launched in 2025. What is the purpose of this mission? So if you are not reading this scheme, you would be clueless about this scheme. So now you have to connect that Gyan Bharatam mission is related to conservation of the manuscripts. Manuscripts are what? Which are at least 75 years old. So these three things are very important. As I again told you, I told you earlier also, telling you right now, the name of the scheme, the nodal agency, and the target. This is something, a bare minimum you need to remember. Because when I first read about Udan, I thought this is related to some girl child. Because there is one more scheme which is giving girl child the education and everything. This is also Udan. But you have to look in the context. So Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik is ensuring the connectivity, the air connectivity to the states, whereas there is no not a very large air traffic, and therefore airlines don't want to fly on in those areas like Assam. So the government says if you fly in areas like Assam, we would give you the subsidy, plus we would waive the taxes you are going to pay in the big routes like Delhi and Mumbai. So you have to sometimes know the full form also. As in Udan full form, you should know. They might give you five options and ask you that which is the correct match of the name of the scheme. I think I could answer your question, Anupama. If you are satisfied, please tell me in the chat box. Okay. Now we'll talk about the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Some very important schemes. Let's discuss. So first thing first, SMILE program. As I told you, remember the full form. Strengthening multi-model and integrated logistic ecosystem. Full form is this and the short form is SMILE. Right? Okay, what it would cover? It would cover multi-model and thank you, Anupama. It would cover multi-model and integrated logistics ecosystem. Now, what is the meaning of multi-model and integrated logistic ecosystem? If there is a package which has to be sent from, let's suppose, Kerala to Saudi Arabia. So, fine, Kerala, you have a port, but let's say UP to Saudi Arabia. So, first, it would get into a port city. So from UP to any port city, it would go via maybe the truck or then the railways via containers, then via ship. So you call it multi-modal and integrated logistic ecosystem, whereas one package is sent from UP to Saudi Arabia. So how many mode of transports are used? So this would strengthen this, improving logistics sectors and expanding manufacturing sector. Of course, if your logistic is good, your manufacturing sector would flourish because you would get more orders because you are sending them easily to the different countries. Yes, very good. In this only, you have PM Gati Shakti. So it's a master plan which started in 2021, although an old scheme, but very frequently used by the ministers in their speeches. Many times comes in the newspaper. So you should know that's a central sector scheme. I don't have to explain what is that all about. To provide integrated and seamless connectivity for the movement of people. For an example, I recently made an NCMC card, National Common Mobility Card. And I'll give you my personal example. I went to Delhi, I used that card, and it was working in Delhi Metro, Delhi Transport buses. And then I went to Mumbai, and the same card was working in Mumbai Metro as well. Thanks to Gati Shakti, right? So movement of people, goods, and services across various model, right? So it is also developing multimodal connectivity to various economic zones. There are many corridors which are made here in this Gati Shakti master plan. Existing and planned infra initiative from the convergence. Actually, there are different ministries. When there are more than one ministry involved, we call it a convergence scheme. So you have many ministries, the Ministry of Road Transformation, Ministry of Waterways, and different ministries which are related to transportation are involved. And there are many schemes which are convergent. For an example, Bharat Mala, Sagar Mala. Can someone tell me what is Sagar Mala all about? It is related to what? Although I'm going to tell about this scheme in the further slides. Anyone? What is Sagar Mala scheme all about? Okay, so Sagar Mala is related to the port infrastructure, port infra. I'm going to discuss this further. Yes, very good, very good. It's related to port infra. So we'll discuss Udan. I have already discussed with you. I won't show you the different slide for that. So development of economic zones such as textile clusters, pharmaceutical clusters, defense corridors, electronic parks, industrial corridors, fishing clusters, and agriculture zones. So that would be a convergence. So comprehensiveness, including all existing and planned initiatives of various ministries and departments on a centralized platform. So that is about Gati Shakti. Let's move further. So these are six pillars of Gati Shakti. Let me change the color of my pen. So first is dynamic, allows real-time monitoring of project process, Analytical, provide GIS based special planning tools. Synchronization ensures coordinated planning and implementation. Comprehensiveness, prioritization, and optimization. So this I took from Ministry of Transport. So if you are writing an essay on Gati Shakti or a specific government scheme, you can use such kind of things. Okay, now old but gold. So Make in India, a heavily marketed scheme of the ruling government. Although this was started in 2014 and it's not one scheme, there are many schemes which comes under Make in India. Make in India itself comes under Atmanirbhar Bharat and stop reliance on other countries, especially China. Or at the time of COVID, a prime minister was uh, promoting this scheme like anything. So both central sector scheme and centrally sponsored scheme, depending on what scheme is going on. So there are certain schemes where a central government is giving pura paisa, so that becomes central sector. Some schemes it's 60/40 or 70/30, then it becomes the centrally sponsored scheme. Nodal agency is DPIIT, Department for Promotion and Industry and Internal Trade. Who is the boss of this DPIIT? Anyone? So, Ministry of Finance, under which there is a Department of Economic Affairs. Who runs the show? Department of Economic Affairs. Who is the boss of Department of Economic Affairs? The same person is the boss of DPIIT. Anyone? Okay, I'll give you one more hint. This guy releases the economic survey. Anyone? Okay, so the name of the person is V. Anant Nageshwaran, and this guy is the chief economic advisor. So he's the boss. What is the objective? Facilitate investment and foster innovation. Goal is what? To position India as a global manufacturing hub, as the name suggests. Attract both domestic and foreign investment into the manufacturing sector. So you must be knowing that India was earlier an agrarian economy and it was directly shifted to a service-based economy after 1991 reforms, LPG reforms. So after the LPG reforms, it directly shifted into the services. So the sector which was left was manufacturing and therefore the Make in India initiative. And there was this PLI scheme also. So whatever you are exporting, if you are showing incrementalism in your exports, you'd be getting certain subsidies, which government said that in many sectors it is going to stop this PLI, which was in news again. Anyways, in this you have Startup India scheme as well. So PLI, you have to remember Startup India, which was started in 2021 to promote the startups. Right. So these are all the parts of Make in India. So be very careful if it's asked. Then there is a scheme known as Uttar Purva Transformative Industrialization Scheme or Unnati. Now again, see, the short form is Unnati and the full form is this. So you have to remember this. So as the name suggests, Uttar Purva means the northeast. So there are many problems going on. Already there are two communities in Manipur, those who are fighting with each other. So government is trying its best to promote the schemes in Northeast so that there will be prosperity there. Regional development should be there, equal regional development. So therefore, such certain schemes. Which ministry is responsible? So Ministry of Commerce and Industry, as I told you. What is the objective? To promote industrialization and generate employment in the northeastern regions. Fund allocation 60% of Part A funds for 8 northeastern states, remaining 40% on first in, first out FIFO basis. Both manufacturing and service sector. Now you have to remember that it's not only about manufacturing, but it is related to service sector also. So if you are opening any service sector company, you would be getting this benefit here, industry benefit. Uh, Support provided incentives to promote industrial expansion, streamline operation, and boost employment. So remember, again, such kind of schemes you need to remember the full form. If you know the full form, you would be able to guess the scheme, but you have to know the full form. So the MCQ can be, what is Unnati scheme all about? So you need to know the full form. That's Uttar Purva Transformative Industrialization, and then you can, of course, crack the MCQ. Then you have Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, or MITI, you call it in short. Schemes: Electronic Components Manufacturing Scheme. So India is facing crunch of electronic components. Most of the mobile phones, most of the electronic things are imported, and therefore the central government sponsors it. First scheme that focuses on promoting the manufacturing of passive electronic components. So these are the passive electronic components, no? To deepen domestic value addition by localizing core electronic components by developing capacity. Again, the reason is simple. We have to import a lot of electronic equipments, and therefore we will try to make it here so that dollar will not go out of the country and will not run the trade deficit with the countries like Hong Kong or China or South Korea. So this electronic component manufacturing scheme follows the Indian Semiconductor Mission ISM 1.0 and white goods PLI. When I say white goods, I mean AC, refrigerators. These are known as white goods. Why these are known as white goods? Because earlier these goods only used to come in white colors. So both greenfield and brownfield applications will be accepted. Now you must be confused what is greenfield and what is brownfield. So if I already have a shop and I am making certain changes in that shop, that would be known as greenfield. But there was a empty plot and I made a shop on that, and then I started the business. This is known as greenfield. So starting from the scratch is greenfield, renovating the existing project is brownfield. I would come back to it. I'm already running short of time, so please give me some more time. If I am allowed with more time, I'll explain the Unnati again, because otherwise we'll be missing many schemes. I have got lot many to tell you, so I'm sorry for that. Uh, then you have Ministry of Education. You can see the recording if you missed certain important things, if you were out of the class because of your network. Okay. This scheme was in news. PM Shri. So full form you have to remember: PM Schools for Rising India. Some states have opposed the implementation of PM Shri scheme, citing federal concerns. Can you tell me which state opposed PM Shri? Which state opposed PM Shri? Anyone? The state has been recently renamed. No, I told you the state has been recently renamed. I made a video also, you can check on the channel of Time. So it is Kerala. Kerala. Yes, it said that we are not going to uh, open the PM Shri schools, and the union government said if you will not open the schools, we are not going to allow the grants for the other. Yes, perfect. We are not going to allow for the other grants, and therefore then finally Kerala accepted and started the PM Shri schools. Nonetheless, yes, Tamil Nadu as well, but recently Kerala was in news. So it's a centrally sponsored scheme, 2023 to 26-27, 14,500 model schools to showcase NAP 2020, which was opposed by Tamil Nadu for sure, and for the obvious reason, I don't want to discuss that here in the classroom. So, components, beneficiaries, over 20 lakh students expected to benefit. Objective is equitable, inclusive, joyful, holistic education with 21st century skills. There are few more things you need to remember. This would be the experimental teaching based on NEP. If you are not sure about NEP, just read about it. So NEP is always in news. For an example, right now, I'm not talking about NEP, but going a bit out of the topic. Recently, Supreme Court has asked NCERT to remove a section from a class 8th social science book. Read about that also, important. And today, if you refer Indian Express, I'm taking this class on 28th of Feb. Uh, if you can read the Indian Express explained part today, and you would come to know that how many amendments were made in NCERT over the time by the different governments and the judiciary as well. So just read it, just an extra thought. Nonetheless, so monitoring tools, school quality assessment. This is also somehow related to Niti Aayog. Read about that. Competitive federalism, geotagging of schools, stakeholder feedback, third party evaluations, and so forth. And from here, I have got a question for you. With reference to the PMC school scheme, consider the following statement. Is it a central sector scheme? One, it promotes mother tongue, local language as a medium of instruction. Geotagging of school is part of its monitoring mechanism. Now, come on, answer it fast. One and two only, two and three only, one and three only, or all are correct. Yes, perfect. B, two and three only. Why? Because it's a centrally sponsored scheme and not a central sector scheme. So two and three is correct. Yes, B, perfect. Congratulations. Let's move towards the next question. Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, important again, was in news. Although it was started in 2018, it subsumed many schemes. So it's a centrally sponsored scheme, provision of quality education and enhancing learning outcomes. Just read about PISA. There is a survey uh, by OECD. Important. I won't speak much about it, but read about it, you'll come to know. Program for International Student Assessment. India once participated in it and got very less marks. So we found a solution. What the solution was? We stopped participating in PISA. So recently the government is saying we'll again participate. Just read about it. Important, can come. Okay. So to improve school effectiveness, measured in terms of equal opportunities for schooling and equitable learning outcomes. Now, Samagra Shiksha subsumed three schemes: Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Ramsa, and Teachers Education. So these three schemes, the new name is Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Yes, you are right. So the funding pattern of Samagra Shiksha is 60-40, center state. Right, 90-10 for special category states. You need to remember in special category states, you have Northeast, Himalayan states, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. These are the special category states. And these states would get more share from the center. I told you the reason while I started this class. Now there is a system known as Prabandh and Shagun. These would monitor the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, that whether these things are specifically implemented or not by the states. Right? So remember, Prabandh and Shagun is related to the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Okay. Then you have Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak scheme. So the government is trying that the reader should read all the books in Indian languages. So this is the scheme, Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak scheme. Then you have Ministry of Port and Shipping. So one nation, one port. Last year this scheme was started. It's a central sector scheme. The target is to standardize and streamline operations across India's 12 major ports. Remember, major ports are owned by the center government and minor ports are owned by the states. So we have 12 major ports. And again, the things are same to enhance the efficiency whatsoever. Reduction the container operation document, so there would be less documentation so that there would be speedy movement of containers from one port to another. And in the ages of this one nation, one port, the government also celebrated India Maritime Week in 2025 in Mumbai. This year, again, they will celebrate. Wherever they will celebrate can be an MCQ. So if you are taking an exam after October, just see that where this Indian Maritime Week was celebrated. So that was world's largest maritime conference to promote maritime heritage and development. So 100 countries participated with 1 lakh delegates. This I'm telling you because this is a big event. So like for right now, the AI summit is a big event. Just like that, this Indian Maritime Week was a big event. Then Sagarmala, again related to the logistic system of the ports. So ports efficiency and capacity. So these are the ports they want to improve the efficiency of. So export and import would be easy. Although all this comes into the Atmanirbhar Bharat, but the names of schemes are different. Ministry of Rural Development, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. So they keep on giving the names to Gram Sadak Yojana, although the target is same. Target is what? Provide all-weather road connectivity to eligible unconnected habitation. Unconnected means if you are not living near the road, there are certain, in fact, for unconnected habitation is a definition. So if you can also get the definition that how far you are living from the main road. So if you are living 100 kilometers, I am not very sure what is the definition, but unconnected habitats, there is a definition given in the government books. So just read about that. And if not, at least remember that the government is trying to provide all-weather roads. Target is what? Aims to provide all-weather road connectivity to 25,000 unconnected habitations by constructing this much of roads. Is it important? If you can remember. What is more important? The objective, right? So that would be 60-40 ratio. Shares in, again, the special category states would be more. and maintenance of road built under PM Gram Sadak Yojana by Ministry of Rural Development and State Government. So this is done. Then let's talk about Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana 2024. It's a centrally sponsored scheme. Again, same thing. I think this was repeated. I'm sorry. Then you have Ministry of Mines. National critical mineral, very important, very, very, very important because government is trying to find critical minerals like anything. We are having deals with the different countries for the critical minerals with Israel, with US and whatnot. So it's a central sector scheme because critical minerals are important. People, those who are from the science background, you can be asked in the interview also that name certain critical minerals. So you need to remember the names as well. To make India self-reliant by promoting exploration, mining and recycling of critical minerals. Even this budget also it was discussed. So target is what? Mining industry, researchers and related stakeholders. So we want to achieve the self-reliance in critical minerals, which is possible because there are many states in India which are having huge potential in critical minerals, although not explored well because there are bottlenecks, supply chain issues, nepotism, and many other things. Nonetheless, government is planning for clean energy electronics, and there is a net zero goal. I am not going to explain this, but this is very important for the MCQ purpose because I'm not teaching the global warming today. However, I would request all of you listening to this class just research about net zero goal, research about the Paris Summit of 2015. Very important, can be asked. So you can take this snapshot of this and read about what is the expenditure target, what the mission would talk about, and so forth. Okay, now this is off topic. PEC Silica. India was not invited earlier in this, but recently it has been invited. Read about this. What was this all about? Why India was not invited earlier? What is PEC Silica all about? So it's important. Can be asked. Anyways, now let's talk about the money, the Ministry of Finance, the first scheme, gold monetization scheme. Although, if you can read this one, Finance Ministry decided to discontinue the medium term and long term government deposit components, but still it's in news. See two things, sovereign gold bonds and gold monetization scheme. Why? To reduce India's reliance on gold imports. Because if we'll import the gold, the dollar would go out, then currency would depreciate, then inflation would occur. So therefore, these two schemes, sovereign gold bond, which government recently said that we are not going to issue because gold rates are higher, more than expected by the government, and government has to give a lot of returns, and therefore these schemes are not going to survive. However, you should know but what was the target? So target was to reduce the gold imports. This is important for you to know, right? So there were certain tax benefits given. You can read it at home, aram se, but this is important. Then you have NPS Vatsalya. So for the small kids also, there is a pension scheme. So you invest for your kids from the very beginning, and while they would get old, they would get the pension. So NPS is itself is the important scheme. So read about it. Vatsalya is for kids, which was launched in 2024. So nodal agency is PFRDA. It's a regulatory body like IRDA and RBI and SEBI. So it would promote long-term financial security for children, providing a flexible and market-linked pension scheme. That means the money you would give to the fund managers, they would invest in the market, and according to the market, the kids would get the pension once they become the old kids. Anyway, so these are the contributions. Not so very important. The important thing is the nodal agency and what is NPS Vatsalya all about. So guardians would choose the investment options, right? Let's move further. Jan Dhan Yojana, again a very old scheme, but every day there are, and not every day, but very frequently news is there. Okay, how gold import is affecting rupee value global market. See, you there is something known as trade deficit. You don't have gold in your country. I'm talking to Anupama. You have to import the gold. So if you import the gold, you have to send the dollars out of the country, right? So gold coming in, dollars going out. More dollars going out, less dollars coming in would lead to rupee depreciation. Now, if rupee is depreciated, that means rupee is weak and dollar is strong. So if you import more gold, you'd be sending more dollar outside. But the dollar is not. See, if you are sending dollar outside, dollar should also come to your country, but it's not coming, right? So that is how it is. This leads to the depreciation of rupee. Uh, f- uh, uh, yes, import exceeds export is trade deficit. Very good, you got that. And for that, you can also refer to the economics classes. You would come to know this very clearly. Nonetheless, so PM Jan Dhan scheme, there was this person known as Nachiket Moore, Raghuram Rajan, 23rd governor of RBI, made this committee and he suggested that there should be bank account in every household in India and therefore the PM Jan Dhan Yojana was started. Very important because um, 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 as I said, very frequently the money deposited in Jan Dhan account is discussed. So there is a RuPay debit card given with Jan Dhan, accident insurance also given. So just read it at home. Important scheme. There's an overdraft facility. So let's suppose you have 5,000 rupees in your account and you issued the check of 10,000. So that would be cleared. And then finally the money would be in minus in your account. The moment you would deposit, it would be credited back. So that is how it is. There's a life insurance cover as well. And it would be facilitating GEM, you know, Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile, GEM. PM Mudra Yojana, full form is Micro Units Development and Refinancing Agency. Micro Units Development and Refinancing Agency. What it would do, it would again give collateral free loans up to 20 lakhs, and there are three kind of loans given: Shishu, Kishore, and Tarun, depending on how much money is given. And there is one more thing added: Tarun Plus, which would 10 lakh to 20 lakh. So nothing but the loans given to MSMEs and the small startups by the Mudra. And you need to remember the full form. It can be asked. Yes, MSME. Perfect. So, with reference to the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, consider the following statement. Mudra is a direct lending agency that provides loans to micro enterprises. Shishu loans under PM AY eligible for 2% interest subvention. Credit guarantee fund for micro units provided guarantee coverage of Mudra loans. So, the answer of this question, I'm giving it myself because I'm running short of time. So, the answer of this question is Mudra will not directly give loans to entrepreneurs. It would give the loans to banks and then banks would give loans to the entrepreneurs. So it's a refinancing agency. The answer is B, 2 and 3. Stand Up India scheme 2016, again related to the startups to promote entrepreneurship among the weaker section of society. Again, what would be given? The bank loan for the greenfield enterprises. That means, as I told you, I'm starting something from the scratch. So that would be greenfield. Facilitate bank loans ranging from 10 to 10 lakhs to 1 crore to at least one SC/ST borrowers and one women borrower per bank branch. Loan amount would be between 10 lakhs to 1 crore. Again, old scheme, but sometimes in the news, so you should know. Tenure would be long, up to 7 years, and the moratorium period of 18 months. That means you'd be getting time to pay the EMI. If you cannot pay the EMI because your business is not running properly, so 18 months relaxation can be given. And then if you are not able to repay the loan, banks would not bear the brunt. There would be a National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company which would give money to the bank in case of default by the MSME. Then you talk about Ministry of Jal Shakti. Jal Jeevan Mission, centrally sponsored scheme. Nodal agency is Department of Drinking Water. What is the purpose? 55 liters of potable water per capita per day. So clean water, all household in rural area is target. Rural area is target, remember. The target was to be achieved by 2024, but as I said, sometimes they are not able to achieve the target, so the scheme is extended. So that is Jal Jeevan. Then Namami Gange program 2014, it was started. What is the logic? To conserve the national river Ganga? And then there is a state aquatic animal of Bihar known as Gangetic dolphin that would also be preserved and conserved. My bad. So aquatic life, including species like Gangetic dolphin and turtles, would be uh, there would be conservation. Important Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. There are few schemes like PM Kusum, then PM Surya Ghar Yojana. Again, what is that all about? To install the subsidized solar panels and giving the people subsidies, those who are going for the solar panels. So this is a data important, I would say no, but yes, why this scheme important? Objective, you have to remember the objective of the scheme. This is somehow very important. Then National Green Hydrogen Mission. Important because the Prime Minister many times talks about this. So you have brown hydrogen and green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is actually sourced from the trees. So to establish India as the global hub for the production, utilization and export of green hydrogen. People, those who are from the engineering background have gone through chemistry. In the interview, there were many students of mine. They were asked about the process of green hydrogen. So read about that, important. So then again, reduce fossil fuel imports because again, that also leads to the current account deficit and the depreciating rupee, same as gold. So that was about green hydrogen mission. Then PM Kusum. So PM Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uthan Mahabhiyan. Again, what is this all about? To ensure energy security for farmers in India. So Kusum is moreover for the farmers and to increase the shares of installed capacity of electric power for from non-fossil fuel. Again, provide financial and water security to farmers and increase farmers' income. So that is PM Kusum. 2019 old scheme, but sometimes in the news. Then there is this Atal Innovation Mission. So the nodal agency is Niti Aayog, and it actually would provide the innovation centers within existing incubators. For an example, I am not very thorough with English and I want to make an app for iPhone. Now, for to make an app for iPhone, I need lot of infrastructure which I don't have. So government would provide me the incubator. I can go to that place and I would be getting all the electronic gadgets there and I can make my app. And if I'm trying to make it in vernacular language, then it would be Atal Innovation Mission. I hope this is clear. Then Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. There were certain schemes which were there in news because of the scams happened. And out of those schemes, one is Ayushman Bharat, central sector scheme, implementing agencies NHA, 5 years tenure. What it says, integrated digital health solution. They would be make the Abha card, which is Ayushman Bharat Health Card, and digital health services provided. It is voluntary for all, including the citizens. Notable features is eKYC and QR based OPD registration. So, some empaneled hospitals were in news because of misuse of Ayushman Bharat digital data. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana is part of Ayushman Bharat. Again, what is that all about? So, 5 lakh family per year, secondary and tertiary care, which we discussed in the very beginning. It's a centrally sponsored scheme. So this was Ayushman Bharat. So these are few important schemes we discussed. There are many more, but I chose these schemes because these schemes were in news very frequently. So I want you to revise these schemes and wish you all the best. I hope I was able to clear your doubts. For other things, you can also see the lectures previously taken by us if you are confused in economics or any other area. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening ahead. Good night.